don't do this to me.
You can't buy me. I will marry her.
No. The word cut through the Grand Hyatt Seoul Chapel like a blade. I stood frozen at the altar in my Vera Wang gown, hand extended toward Marcus. 200 guests sat in stunned silence. Pastor Kim blinked. I'm sorry, what? Marcus stepped backward, his face twisting into something cruel. I said no. I can't marry her. My heart stopped. Marcus, I can't marry you. He spun to face the congregation. You want the truth. She paid me. This desperate woman paid me 8 million won to marry her. The chapel erupted. Gasps rippled through the pews. My mother's anguished cry. Phones appeared, recording lights blinking like predator eyes. They deserve to know. Marcus gestured at me. Look at her. 32 years old. Rich, successful, but nobody wants her. She's old cargo looking for who to tie down in marriage. The words hit like physical blows. She threw money at me like a prostitute. 8 million won. Marry me, Marcus. I'll take care of everything. Just marry me. Please. He mimicked my voice, high-pitched and desperate. Tears blurred my vision. My business partners watched. Clients, competitors, all watching me crumble. I tried, Marcus said with mock sympathy. For 8 million won, I figured I could make it work. But all I felt was disgust. How could I wake up next to that? He pointed directly at me. 200 pairs of eyes followed. You want a husband. You'll pay more than 8 million won. Because nobody will marry you for love. You're not pretty enough. Not young enough. Too successful, too aggressive, too black for Korea. The racial slur landed like a bomb. I took your money because you were stupid enough to give it. And now, I'm done. You were desperate enough to buy a man. And even that wasn't enough. Silence except for my mother's sobs and camera clicks. Marcus had destroyed me. Completely. Publicly. I turned toward the side door. I'll marry her. Everyone turned. A man in a wheelchair sat silhouetted in sunlight. Then he rolled forward with deliberate movements. Mid-30s. Sharp features. A scar from temple to cheekbone. Expensive black suit. Dark eyes focused entirely on me with an unreadable expression. Who the hell are you? Marcus demanded. The man didn't glance at him. Miss Williams, I believe you need a husband. And I need a wife. I propose a trade. Whispers exploded. Marcus laughed. This is perfect. Amelia is so desperate she'll marry a cripple. A random cripple off the street. The congregation laughed. This is going viral. The man remained still. Expression unchanged. Simply waiting. For me to decide. Despite the wheelchair, the scar, the insanity, something about him. The way he held himself. The calm in his eyes. The way he'd rolled into this mockery without shame. The way he looked at me. Not with pity or disgust. With respect. Understanding. They're laughing at you, Marcus said. Just admit this was a mistake. I'll give you half the money back. The man looked at Marcus. Brief. Dismissive. Then those dark eyes returned to me, hand extended. Miss Williams, he said quietly. They are laughing now. But I promise, if you take my hand, they will never laugh at you again. Steel in his voice. Promise. Threat. I looked at his hand. Marcus. At the congregation with their phones. My hand moved. His skin was warm. Grip firm, certain. Something shifted inside me. Yes, I whispered. The smallest smile. Good. He turned to Pastor Kim. Can you perform the ceremony? This is irregular. I need identification. Already done. A bodyguard I hadn't noticed. Granite-faced, powerfully built, bulge under his arm. Handed Pastor Kim a folder. Pastor Kim's eyes widened. This is all in order. How? Is it legally sufficient? Yes, but. Then proceed. Marcus went pale. You're marrying some random cripple. Better a cripple with honor than a whole man with none. Marcus turned purple. You don't know who. The second bodyguard shifted forward. Marcus's mouth snapped shut. You have 10 seconds to leave, the man said. After that, Mr. Choi will escort you out. Unpleasantly. You're threatening me. I'll. 9 seconds. Marcus fled, stumbling, the door slamming. The man turned back. I apologize. Shall we continue? I realized I didn't know his name. What's your name? Something warm flickered in his eyes. Min Eugene. Min. Why did that sound familiar? Family, we need to pause. If you're loving this story, smash that like button right now. Comment below. Would you have married the stranger? Would you have taken Eugene's hand? We're so close to 3,000 subscribers. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We're building a community that loves dramatic, passionate Afro-Korean stories. Because what happens at the gala? It changes everything. You don't want to miss what comes next. Back to the story. The ceremony was surreal. Pastor Kim rushed through it, voice shaking. Do you, Min Eugene, take Amelia Williams? I do. Teddy. Certain. Do you, Amelia Williams, take Min Eugene? I looked at this stranger who'd rolled into my disaster. I do. I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Eugene took my hand, kissed my knuckles with old-fashioned formality. Hello, wife, he murmured. An unexpected shiver ran through me. The congregation erupted. Questions. Cameras everywhere. Eugene gestured to his bodyguards. Mr. Choi, escort my wife to the car. Mr. Park, handle our guest situation. Your family wants answers. We'll host them tomorrow. Mr. Choi will explain in the car. We need to leave now. Marcus's voice shouted from the back. Mr. Park moved toward it. Time to go, ma'am, Mr. Choi said gently, offering his arm. The crowd parted. I glimpsed my mother's hurt face. Mom. Tomorrow, Mr. Choi said firmly. Outside, a Rolls-Royce Phantom waited. Black. Gleaming. This was my last chance to run. Eugene looked at me through the open door. Dark eyes steady. Waiting. I took Mr. Choi's hand and got in. The door closed. As we pulled away, I saw Marcus screaming at the chapel doors, held back by Mr. Park. Felt nothing. Just a strange sensation of free fall. We drove in silence. Would you like water? Eugene asked. He nodded. He poured with steady hands. Our fingers brushed. I imagine you have questions. Hysterical laugh. Questions? Yeah. Ask. Who are you? Min Eugene. That's a name, not an answer. His mouth twitched. Fair point. He looked out the window. Have you heard of Min Tae-jin? My breath caught. Min Tae-jin. One of Korea's wealthiest men. Chairman of Min Industries, a massive conglomerate. Forbes' top 20 richest in Asia. There were also rumors. Shadow deals. Problems that disappeared. You're related. He's my father. The glass slipped. Eugene caught it with reflexes too fast for someone who couldn't walk. You're Min Tae-jin's son. The Min Tae-jin. The only son. The only heir. I'd never heard of a son. No articles, no news, no mention. Why doesn't anyone know about you? His eyes met mine, dark and intense. Because 5 years ago I died. The silence in the Rolls-Royce was suffocating. I sat frozen in my wedding dress, mascara dried in tracks down my cheeks. Eugene sat beside me, close enough to feel his warmth but not touching, giving me space. Soul blurred past. Neighborhoods grew progressively more expensive with each kilometer. You're Min Tae-jin's son, I finally said, voice hoarse. Yes. And you died. 5 years ago. Officially, yes. I turned to him. People don't officially die. Something like approval flickered in his eyes. 5 years ago there was an attempt on my life. The official story is that I died. The truth is more complicated. He was quiet, calculating what to tell me. A car bomb. Meant for my father, bad intelligence. My driver died instantly. I survived. Barely. His voice was clinical. Shattered spine in 3 places. Doctors said I'd never walk again. I'm so sorry. Don't be. It was the best thing that happened to me. Blinked. How? It made me invisible. A ghost of a smile. My father has many enemies. Business rivals. Politicians. Criminal organizations who resent our territorial control. Criminal organizations. Min Industries is the legitimate face, he continued. Manufacturing, technology, real estate. But there's another side. Information networks. Protection services. Strategic enforcement. My father controls significant underground operations throughout Seoul. Korean Mafia. After the bombing we had a choice. Announce my survival and wait for the next attempt, or... He gestured to the wheelchair. Let them think they'd broken me. Made me irrelevant. So you've been hiding. Preparing. Running my father's underground operations from the shadows. Building power. Consolidating control. All while everyone thought I was crippled and useless. My mind reeled. Why tell me? Because Korean inheritance law requires me to be married to claim my position as heir. To officially take over Min Industries. His eyes held mine. That's why I needed a wife. That's why I needed you. Why me specifically? Hundreds would marry me. But they all have connections. Family ties to chaebol, political relationships. Every Korean woman comes with networks attached. He leaned forward. You're American. No family business here. No political connections. No leverage points. Cold settled in my stomach. So I was convenient. We were convenient for each other. You needed escape. I needed a wife with no strings. Fair trade. A business transaction. Isn't it? The bluntness stung. I turned to the window, blinking tears. How did you know about my wedding? Marcus publicized it extensively. Made you easy to research. He recited my life like reading a file. Amelia Williams. Atlanta, Georgia. Founded Technova at 25. Grew it to 100 million. 83 employees. Contracts with Samsung, LG, SK Telecom. My mouth fell open. You also donated 3 million won to an orphanage. Mentor young women in tech. Paid medical treatment for an employee's child with leukemia. His voice softened. I needed to know who you really were. Whether you could handle what I was offering. Handle what? The truth. My world. The danger of being married to me. His gaze held mine. Many women would have run. But you. I thought you might be strong enough. You mean broken enough. No. His hand moved, almost touching mine, stopping. Strong enough. There's a difference. The car turned onto a private drive. Massive walls appeared, cameras everywhere. Guards bowed as gates swung open. Where are we? Home. We drove through manicured gardens. A mansion appeared, 3 stories of modern architecture. 20,000 square feet. Pyeongchang-dong. 10 acres in Seoul's most exclusive neighborhood. Staff waited at the entrance. 10 people in matching uniforms. They bowed in unison. Welcome home, madam, said an older woman in a navy hanbok. I am Mrs. Kong, head of household. Eugene wheeled forward. Mrs. Kong, show Mrs. Min to the east wing. Dinner at 8. I followed her inside. The interior was breathtaking. Marble floors, modern art worth millions. A chandelier that cost more than my apartment. Mrs. Kong opened double doors. Your private quarters, madam. The suite was bigger than my penthouse. And my clothes, all of them, hung in the closet. Master Eugene had your belongings collected this afternoon. This afternoon. He'd been that certain. I've drawn a bath. Press 0 if you need anything. She studied me. You're safe here. Master Eugene is a good man. Better than most know. After she left, I stood alone and finally fell apart. I sank to the floor and cried. For Marcus's betrayal. The humiliation. Marrying a stranger. Being moved like furniture. When I finally stood, I caught my reflection. Mascara everywhere. Dress ruined. But underneath I was still standing. It survived. Made an insane choice. And I was still standing. At dinner, Eugene sat in a regular chair. Not his wheelchair. He stood when I entered. Easily, naturally. You can walk. Yes. Please sit. Staff appeared, served, disappeared. You're angry, he observed. You investigated me. Moved my things. Planned everything. Yes. But that doesn't mean you weren't the right choice. He leaned forward. I saw someone who built something from nothing. Someone strong enough to stand alone. I was desperate. Desperate enough to make hard choices. A weak person would have stayed with Marcus. Would have run. You made a different choice. An insane choice. Tell me honestly, are you worse off? I opened my mouth, stopped. This morning I'd been about to marry a man who never loved me. Now I was in a mansion, protected, connected to Korea's most powerful family. I don't know yet. He smiled genuinely. Most honest thing anyone said to me in years. The food was incredible. Tomorrow night my father hosts a gala. My first public appearance in 5 years. You'll be introduced as my wife. I don't know how to do this. You'll be prepared. Coached. And if I fail? You won't. You built a $100 million company where people doubted you. You learned Korean fluently. You've survived Seoul's business world as a Black American woman. He met my eyes. You can handle a gala. Part of me believed him. What happens after? I claim my position. Take over Min Industries. And you become one of Seoul's most powerful women. I don't want power. Liar. You've spent 7 years building power. Teknova is power. Independence. Control. Don't tell me you don't want it when you've dedicated your life to acquiring it. He wasn't wrong. This is different. I earned my power. This is borrowed. For now. But it can become yours. Truly yours. I have one question, I said. Can you really walk? He looked at me for a long moment, then walked across the room. Smooth, natural, perfect. He turned back. I've been able to walk for 3 years. The injury was real. Recovery took 2 years. The wheelchair after that has been strategic. Strategic. A man in a wheelchair is underestimated. Dismissed. People say things around him they'd never say around a healthy man. They get careless. He walked back toward me, each step precise. The wheelchair was a weapon, Amelia. Made me invisible. And invisible men can do anything. He stopped directly in front of me. Close enough I had to tilt my head back. Tomorrow night I'm putting that weapon down. Stepping into the light. And when I do, every enemy my family has will know I'm not broken. They'll come after you. My first instinct was worry for this stranger. Yes, which is why I needed a wife first. Someone they can't use against me. His hand came up, stopping just short of my face. Someone strong enough to survive what comes next. The air between us charged. And what comes next? His smile was dangerous. Beautiful. War, Mrs. Min. What comes next is war. Mrs. Kong led me deeper into the east wing, through a connecting door I hadn't noticed. I stopped breathing. The bedroom was enormous. A 4-poster bed draped in champagne silk. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking gardens that glowed like something from a dream. And my things, not just clothes but everything. My laptop, my books, even my ridiculous coffee mug collection displayed like precious artifacts. Master Eugene wanted you to feel at home, Mrs. Kong said softly. In a palace. She prepared tea. Master Eugene says you may explore freely. Dinner at 8. After she left, I sat alone trying to process. 24 hours ago, I'd been preparing to marry Marcus. Now I was married to a stranger, living in a mansion called Madam, by staff who bowed like I was royalty. I should have been terrified. Instead I felt numb. Understood. Maybe if I understood this place I could understand what I'd gotten into. The Min estate was a labyrinth of wealth. A library with rolling ladders. A music room with an untouched grand piano. Museum-quality ceramics under glass. Felt like a stage set, not a home. On the second floor I found a study. The walls were covered in photographs. Younger. Standing tall and powerful at construction sites. Commanding conference rooms. Attending galas with beautiful women. Standing. Walking. Healthy. Below were framed newspaper articles. Min Tae-jin's son critically injured in Gangnam explosion. Min Yu-jin in coma after assassination attempt. I read them all heart-pounding. Critical condition. Long recovery. Withdrawn from public life. But nothing about permanent disability. Just the official story. I studied the photos. In every one Eugene radiated power. Authority. Danger. He'd spent 5 years hiding this. Pretending to be helpless. Why? The answer chilled me. Because helpless men are underestimated. Dismissed. Forgotten. And forgotten men can do anything. At the end of the hallway I found different doors. Heavier. Reinforced. Can I help you, madam? A bodyguard appeared. Not Mr. Choi or Park, but another armed man. Just exploring, I said. Of course. You're welcome anywhere in the main house. He gestured to the locked wing. That section is Master Eugene's private offices. Secure for business reasons. Business reasons. Reinforced doors. Armed guards. We're here to ensure your safety, he added. Safety. That word again. I returned to my room, mind racing. This wasn't just a wealthy family's home. This was a fortress. Command center. And I was living in it now. At dinner, Eugene sat in a regular chair. Not his wheelchair. He stood when I entered. Easily, naturally. You can walk. Yes. Please sit. Staff appeared, served, disappeared. We were alone. Why me? Burst out. Really? Why did you choose me specifically? He set down his chopsticks. Because you built something from nothing in a country that didn't want you. That takes strength most people don't have. I was desperate. You understand necessity. You wouldn't break under pressure. You're smart, proud, strong enough to stand beside me when things get difficult. His voice was intense. I needed someone like you. What things? What am I standing beside you for? He studied me, calculating. What do you know about my family's business? Min Industries. Manufacturing, technology, real estate. That's the public face. But true power requires alternative channels. His eyes never left mine. Information networks. Protection services. Strategic enforcement. My family controls significant underground operations throughout Seoul. My heart raced. Organized crime. Power. We provide services in the gray areas. Problems that disappear. Information that can't be found legally. His smile was dangerous. They call me the ghost. I run the underground operations. Have been for 5 years from the shadows. Building power. Consolidating control. Eliminating threats. From your wheelchair. Which made everyone underestimate me. Politicians confided secrets. Rivals made careless moves. Business leaders never saw the trap until it closed. I set down my chopsticks, hands shaking. You've been pretending for 5 years. To manipulate people. To protect my family. To survive. The bombing was real. The injury was real. Recovery took 2 years. But after. He shrugged. The wheelchair became more useful than walking. That's terrifying. Yes. I run an organization most don't know exists. I have unmeasurable power. And tomorrow night I'm stepping into the light. Claiming my official position. Why now? Because I needed a wife first. Someone who couldn't be used against me. He looked at me intently. When I appear tomorrow with you, when I stand from this wheelchair, we will have enemies. Powerful ones. You'll be a target. I'm in danger. You were in danger the moment you said yes. But you're also protected. More than ever before. No one can touch you now. Not Marcus. Not anyone. You're a min. That means something. I thought about the humiliation. Laughter. They couldn't laugh anymore. Wouldn't dare. You should be terrified, he said quietly. I should be. But I'm not. But you don't. I met his eyes. No. 'Cause for the first time in years I felt safe. Powerful. Like nobody could touch me. I'd married into real power. And part of me liked it. Tomorrow night, my father's gala. Every major leader in Korea will be there. You'll be introduced as my wife. The woman who brought me back. I don't know how to do this. You'll learn. Tomorrow you'll have coaches. Etiquette experts. By tomorrow night you'll be ready. What do I get in return? Protection. Status. Power. Revenge if you want it. He tilted his head. What do you want, Amelia? Thought carefully. I want people to respect me, not question me. I want to stop fighting for every inch. I want to be truly powerful. His smile was warm, approving. Then you married the right man. In the doorway I stopped. Can you walk? Right now. He looked at me for a long moment, then smiled. What do you think? And he stood. Not carefully. Not with effort. He simply stood with fluid grace, as if he'd never been injured. Powerful. Broad shoulders. Perfect posture. No weakness. He walked toward me. Each step deliberate. Confident. Predator. The wheelchair is a weapon, he said, closing the distance. It makes people underestimate me. Makes them careless. Reveals things they'd never show a man they saw as a threat. He stopped close. So close I had to tilt my head back. Everything about me is strategy, Amelia. Every choice. Every move. Every word. His voice dropped. And you just became part of that strategy. I should have been angry. Instead I felt alive. What if I don't want to be part of your strategy? Challenged. What if I have my own plans? His smile widened. Then I chose even better than I thought. We stood barely a foot apart, the air charged between us. Tomorrow everything changes, Eugene said. Are you ready? I thought about Marcus, the chapel, the humiliation, about this man offering me a way out. Yes, I'm ready. His hand came up, fingertips against my cheek, featherlight. The touch sent electricity through me. Good. 'Cause there's no going back. Once I step into that gala, once the world knows I'm not broken, everything comes into the light. And our enemies will come for us. Let them come, I whispered. His eyes flashed, approval, desire, something darker. Welcome to the war, Mrs. Min. He dropped his hand, stepped back, returned to his wheelchair with fluid ease. Sat down. Became helpless again in a heartbeat. The transformation was chilling. Sleep well. Tomorrow will be intense. He wheeled away, leaving me in the hallway, heart pounding. I'd learned my husband could walk. That he'd been pretending for years. That he ran a criminal empire. That I was now part of it. And the most terrifying thing, I wasn't scared. I was exhilarated. I woke to sunlight and the disorienting reality. I was in a palace, married to a stranger, about to be introduced to Korea's elite as the wife of a ghost. Mrs. Kong appeared with breakfast. Master Eugene has assembled a team to prepare you. Course. The next week was a whirlwind. Day 1, etiquette. Professor Choi, who'd taught 3 generations of chaebol daughters, drilled me for hours. You will be watched, Mrs. Min. Every gesture analyzed. Every word remembered. You must appear effortless. Day 2, language. My Korean was fluent, but high society required different honorifics. Never use informal speech unless they initiate it, Mr. Park warned. It could be a test. Everything was a test. Day 3, fashion. Stylists descended. You dress like a CEO. You need to dress like a queen, Ji-hai said, measuring me for custom pieces. Deep sapphire blue silk for the gala. Cost is irrelevant. You are to have the best. Day 4, politics. Director Han spread photos across the library table. Seoul's elite operate on layers. What you see publicly is theater. He pointed to a distinguished man. Chairman Lee. Publicly. Philanthropist. Actually. His son runs Gangnam's largest drug operation. A glamorous woman. Madam Park. Society darling. Actually. Information broker. Tell her something at the gala. It reaches the right ears by morning. Who do I trust? Yes. No one except Master Eugene. Everyone else is threat or asset. Your job is to determine which. We went through dozens. Politicians taking bribes. Businessmen with secret families. Society women running influence operations. I was fascinated. This was chess with hidden rules. Day 5, reading the room. Watch their eyes. Director Han coached over video. See how Chairman Kim looks at Minister Yoon. That narrowing. Contempt. They're rivals. I learned micro-expressions. Body language. Subtle cues revealing alliances, enmities, secrets. You have good instincts, he approved. Master Eugene chose well. Every evening at 8, I had dinner with Eugene. Always in his wheelchair. Playing his role even in private. How are the lessons, he'd ask. Exhausting. Enlightening. Terrifying. Good. Fear keeps you sharp. These dinners became something I craved. Chance to decompress, ask questions, understand this world. Tell me about the gala, I said on the third night. Officially, charity fundraiser. Actually, display of power. Everyone who matters will be there. Watching when I stand from this wheelchair. They don't know you can walk. No one knows. Only my father and you. He leaned forward. When I stand, it sends a message. The ghost is not broken. We are not to be underestimated. People will challenge you anyway. That's the point. I want them to come out of the shadows. Show me who my real enemies are. His smile was dangerous. Then I'll destroy them. I felt a thrill run down my spine. On the 4th evening, Eugene slid a folder across the table. Marcus's photo stared back. We've been investigating him. He's done this before. Eugene's voice was neutral but edged. Targeted wealthy women. Took their money. Disappeared. Flipped through. 2 other women. Bank transfers. Legal complaints going nowhere. Sarah Mitchell. British expat. $200,000 vanished. Jennifer Kim. 50 million won for wedding expenses. Then he ghosted her. My hand shook. I was just another mark. The biggest. He'd planned for months. Researched you thoroughly. Closed the folder, jaw tight. What will you do to him? What do you want me to do? Question hung between us. What he was capable of. Part of me wanted revenge. Suffering. But a stronger part said something else. Nothing. He's not worth it. Let him live knowing he could have had everything. Wealth, status, the Min family. Let him watch me and regret every choice. Eugene studied me. Then nodded slowly. That's crueler than anything I could do. I know. His smile was approving. You're learning. The tension had been building all week. His hand on my back during practice lingering. The way he looked at me in new clothes, eyes darkening. Fingers brushing when passing documents. But everything changed on the 6th night. I couldn't sleep. Too much information. Too many worries. I wandered through the mansion, following rhythmic impacts. The basement gym. Professional setup. Boxing ring. And Eugene. Not in his wheelchair. Standing. Moving. He wore just workout pants. Torso bare. His body was scarred, silvery lines from the bombing. But underneath was pure strength. Muscle from years of training. Fighter's build. He moved like violence given form. Each punch perfect technique and raw power. Sweat gleamed on his skin. I should have left. Instead I stepped inside. He sensed me instantly, turning mid-combination. For a second, pure predator. Assessment. Calculation. Then recognition. And something else. I thought you were resting, I said, voice steadier than I felt. I don't rest. I prepare. He grabbed a towel but didn't cover himself, like he wanted me to see. For everything. He moved closer. I was hyper-aware of his physicality. Power coiled in his frame. Absolute confidence. Tomorrow night, I step into the light. Every enemy will know I'm not broken. They'll come for me. For us. And you're ready. Are you? He stopped close enough I felt heat radiating from his skin. Once this starts, there's no going back. You'll be a target. Are you prepared? Why do you keep asking me that? Because I need to know. His voice dropped. Why did you really choose me? At the altar you could have run. Why didn't you? I met his eyes. Because I saw someone who'd been broken and rebuilt themselves into something stronger. Someone who understood what it meant to fight when everyone expected you to fall. His jaw tightened. You saw all that. I saw you. The real you. Under everything else. Someone tired of pretending to be less than they were. We stood barely a foot apart, air charged with everything unsaid. Why did you really choose me? Yes. His hand came up, fingers brushing my cheek. Because when I saw you at that altar about to run, you reminded me of myself. Surrounded by enemies, pretending to be smaller than you are. Hiding your strength because the world said you had to survive. His thumb traced my jawline. I shivered. I needed a wife for political reasons. True. But I chose you because I saw someone who could be my equal. Not just my cover story. My partner. Close enough to kiss. I felt his breath on my lips. Saw his pupils dilate. Felt the tension. He leaned in. And stopped. Pulled back with visible effort. Not yet, he said, voice rough. Not like this. Not when you might still be here because you felt trapped. I'm not. Tomorrow night. After the gala. When you've seen everything. When you know exactly what this life means. He stepped back. Then you can decide if this is what you really want. He grabbed his shirt, walked to the door. Get some sleep, Amelia. Tomorrow changes everything. Leaving me alone, heart pounding, body aching. The final day was a blur. The dress arrived at noon in a climate-controlled case. Mrs. Kong helped me into it at 5 p.m. Deep sapphire blue silk, almost black but shimmering like night sky when light caught it. Off-shoulder sleeves, fitted bodice, flowing skirt, elegant, powerful, sophisticated. The jewelry, Mrs. Kong said. Diamonds, real diamonds. A museum-worthy necklace, 3 strands with a center sapphire the size of my thumbnail. Matching earrings like captured stars. Min family heirlooms, Mrs. Kong said softly. Passed down 3 generations. Master Eugene's grandmother wore these to her first state dinner. His mother to her wedding. History settled around my neck with the diamonds. I looked in the mirror. The woman looking back was poised, elegant, powerful. She belonged in this world of wealth and danger. Born to stand beside a man like Eugene. She looked like a queen. Perfect, Mrs. Kong whispered. You look perfect. Knock. Eugene entered. Stopped dead. Custom tuxedo. Hair styled back. Sharp features. That scar. But the way he looked at me like I was the only thing that existed. You look like a queen, he said quietly. I feel like an imposter. He crossed the room in 3 strides. Close enough I saw gold flecks in his dark eyes. Perfect. So do they. Every person at that gala is pretending. Pretending to be more powerful, more wealthy, more important. His hand cupped my face. The difference is, you earned your crown. You built something from nothing. You survived in a world that didn't want you and thrived. His thumb brushed my cheekbone. They inherited power. Married into it. Were born with it. But you forged yours in fire. When you walk into that ballroom on my arm, remember. You belong there more than most ever will. I wanted to kiss him. Forget the gala. Everyone waiting. Mrs. Kong cleared her throat. Master Eugene, the car is ready. He stepped back, eyes holding mine. Ready. Felt the weight. Diamonds. Silk. The week of preparation. Everything about to change. Yes, I'm ready. Eugene smiled. Dangerous, beautiful, and offered his arm. Then let's go show them who we really are. The Rolls-Royce glided through Seoul's nighttime streets. I sat beside Eugene, hands clasped to keep them from shaking, the sapphire necklace heavy against my collarbones. Breathe, Eugene said quietly. He was in his wheelchair, one last performance. You've prepared for this. You're ready. There will be hundreds of people. Press. Cameras. Let them watch. His hand found mine, squeezed. They're expecting a desperate American woman who married a cripple. Instead, they're going to see a queen. Show them who you really are, Amelia. The Shilla Hotel rose before us like a palace of light. Spotlights swept the sky. Red carpet. Dozens of photographers behind velvet ropes. This was a spectacle. Oh my God, I whispered. Too late to run now, Eugene said with warmth. Remember what I told you. You belong here. More than most of them. Mr. Choi opened my door. The world exploded with light. Camera flashes erupted. Voices shouted. Mr. Min. Is it true you're making your first public appearance? Who is the woman with you? Is it true you paid your first fiancé to marry you? Someone had leaked it. I stepped out. For a moment the noise quieted. Every eye on me. Phones raised. In my sapphire dress with Min family diamonds. I looked like I belonged. But did they see that? Or the desperate woman from the chapel? Eugene's wheelchair appeared beside me. He looked up. Show them. I lifted my chin. Smile. Placed my hand on his shoulder. Proprietary, comfortable. Exactly as we'd practiced. The cameras went wild. We entered, and the press chaos gave way to something more refined but no less intense. The ballroom was breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers. Gold accents. Korea's elite in couture and custom tuxedos. Every single one turned to stare. Whispers started immediately. That's her. I heard she paid him. Married a cripple out of desperation. Poor thing. Each whisper a needle. My heart raced. The week of preparation suddenly felt inadequate. Eugene's hand covered mine on the wheelchair. Squeeze. His eyes held mine. Remember. They laugh now. But not for long. I straightened my spine. Lifted my chin. Let my expression settle into the cool, confident mask I'd practiced. They could whisper. Soon they'd have something else to talk about. A distinguished man in his 60s approached. The crowd parted. Mintajan. He radiated power. The quiet certainty of someone who'd built an empire and crushed anyone who stood in his way. But when he looked at Eugene, his eyes softened. My son. Father. Then Min Tae-jin turned to me. I bowed. Exactly the right depth, exactly as taught. So this is my daughter-in-law. He studied me. Then smiled, warm, genuine, and pulled me into an embrace. Welcome to our family, Amelia, he said quietly. Thank you for bringing my son back to us. When he released me, I saw knowing in his eyes. He knew everything. This hadn't been just Eugene's plan. Father and son had orchestrated this together. The next hour was a whirlwind. Ministers, chaebol chairmen, celebrities who bowed to the Min family like royalty. And through it all, eyes, whispers, judgment. Some were kind, others. You're very lucky, catching a Min. However you managed it. Before I could respond, Eugene's hand found mine. I'm the lucky one. My wife built $100 million company from nothing. What have you built, Mrs. Kong? The woman's smile froze. She left quickly. I protect what's mine, Eugene said. But the worst came from Chairman Park's wife. Diamonds worth a small hospital. Smile like poison. I suppose desperation makes strange bedfellows, doesn't it? Marrying a cripple seems rather extreme, even for someone in your position. Nearby conversations stopped. People watched. My face burned. For a second I was back in that chapel. Eugene's wheelchair moved. Suddenly he was between me and Mrs. Park. And arrogance makes foolish enemies. I'd be careful which category you fall into, Mrs. Park. The threat was unmistakable. The woman went white, then red. Walked away quickly. People suddenly found other things to look at. Eugene turned to me. Are you all right? Yes. Thank you. Always. At exactly 9 o'clock, the orchestra fell silent. Lights dimmed except for a spotlight on the stage. Min Tae-jin took the stage. The room fell silent. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Standard opening remarks. But I felt the anticipation. Tonight, however, is also a special occasion. 5 years ago, my family suffered a great tragedy. My son was gravely injured. We thought we might lose him. Absolute silence. But Eugene survived, recovered, and now he has returned, not just as my son but as my successor. I am pleased to announce that Eugene will be taking over as CEO of Min Industries, effective immediately. Applause erupted. This was news. Power shifting. And he does not return alone. Please join me in welcoming my daughter-in-law, Amelia Min, who has brought my son back into the light. I stood bowed, tried not to shake. This was it. Official. I was Mrs. Min now, in front of everyone who mattered. No going back. After the announcement, people approached differently. Not pity, calculation. I was married to the heir of Min Industries. That made me valuable. But through it all, Eugene remained in his wheelchair, accepting congratulations, deflecting questions about his recovery. I could feel tension building in him. The set of his shoulders. Tightness around his eyes. He was ready to stop pretending. The orchestra began playing, a waltz. Couples moved onto the dance floor. Eugene looked up at me. May I have this dance? Confusion rippled. Whispers started. He can't dance. Is this a joke? I placed my hand in his, heart pounding. We'd practiced this. I knew what was coming. But they didn't. Eugene's hand tightened on mine. And then, with fluid grace that silenced the whispers, he stood. The ballroom went absolutely silent. He stood easily, naturally. No struggle, no pain, no sign he'd ever needed that wheelchair. Gasps erupted. Camera flashes exploded. People stumbled backward in shock. Eugene stood at his full height, tall, powerful, commanding, and offered me his hand like we were the only two people in the world. Amelia, dance with me. I took his hand. He led me onto the dance floor. The orchestra kept playing, and we danced. Eugene moved with perfect grace, hand on my waist, guiding me through the steps. But this wasn't practice. This was a declaration. The ghost could walk. The broken air was whole. The Min family's power was undiminished. Every eye on us. Phones recording. Whispers exploding. He's been pretending. For 5 years. This changes everything. Eugene pulled me closer. I saw satisfaction in his eyes. This moment, a shift. You just revealed your biggest secret, I murmured as we turned. His smile was dangerous. Beautiful. No. My biggest secret is still safe. What's that? He leaned closer, lips near my ear. That I didn't choose you randomly. From the moment I saw your photo, I couldn't stop thinking about you. My breath caught. My steps faltered. His hand tightened on my waist, keeping me steady. This marriage was supposed to be strategic, a business arrangement. But somewhere between signing those papers and tonight, it became real for me. The waltz ended. The orchestra transitioned. Around us, other couples returned, but we stood still, barely swaying, lost in each other. Eugene, tell me to stop and I will. His hand cupped my face. Thumb brushed my cheekbone. Tell me this is only business. Tell me you want to keep this purely strategic and I'll step back. I'll never touch you again. His eyes held mine. I saw vulnerability there. Genuine emotion beneath all the strategy. Tell me, he whispered. Couldn't. 'Cause it wasn't just business anymore. Not for me either. Somewhere between the chapel and the lessons and the dinners and late-night conversations, this had become real. I can't, I whispered back. His eyes flared. Why not? Because it's not just business for me either. For one heartbeat we stood frozen. Then Eugene's hand slid to the back of my neck, and he pulled me into a kiss. Passionate, desperate, real. Everything we'd been holding back poured into that kiss. His other hand pulled me flush against him. I felt the strength in his body, the heat through his tuxedo. My hands found his shoulders, his hair, anchoring myself as the world spun. Cameras flashed. People gasped. Whispers exploded. But I didn't care. This was real. This feeling, this connection, this impossible marriage that started with humiliation and turned into something I never expected. When we finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Eugene's eyes were dark with desire and something deeper. "Come with me," he murmured. He led me through the ballroom. People parted, shocked, approving, scandalized. Past his father, who smiled knowingly. Past business leaders recalculating their strategies. Through French doors onto a balcony overlooking Seoul. The city spread below like a carpet of lights. The Han River wound through it, reflecting neon and starlight. "It's beautiful," I breathed. "Yes," Eugene said, but he was looking at me. We stood in silence, his arm around my waist, my head against his shoulder. "Everything changes now," I said quietly. "Yes. Your enemies will come for you. For us. Yes. Are you afraid?" "No." His arm tightened. "I have you. That makes me more dangerous than I've ever been." I turned to look at him, saw he meant it. This wasn't just strategy anymore. This was real partnership. Footsteps approached quickly. Mr. Choi appeared, expression grim. "Sir, we have a situation." Eugene's demeanor changed. The tender man vanished, replaced by the ghost. Cold, calculating, dangerous. "What kind of situation?" "Marcus Johnson is here. Downstairs in the lobby. Drunk. Demanding to see Mrs. Min. He's causing a scene. Hotel security is having trouble containing him." My blood ran cold. "Marcus, here." Eugene's jaw tightened. "I'll handle it." He started toward the door. Caught his arm. "No," I heard myself say. Both men turned. "Let me." "Amelia." He humiliated me in front of everyone who mattered. I ran from that. But I'm not running anymore. I met Eugene's eyes. "Let me handle this." He studied me for a long moment. Then slowly nodded. "Mr. Choi will accompany you." "Of course." "And Amelia." Eugene's hand cupped my face one more time. "Show him what he lost." I smiled, and it wasn't a kind smile. "With pleasure." The elevator ride down felt like descending into battle. Mr. Choi stood beside me. In the mirrored walls I caught my reflection. Sapphire dress, Min family diamonds, perfect hair. I looked like royalty. "You don't have to do this, madam," Mr. Choi said quietly. "Master Eugene would handle it." "I know." I watched the floor numbers descending. "But I need to. For me." The elevator doors opened onto chaos. Hotel security, 6 men in dark suits, formed a circle around a disheveled figure. Guests backed away, phones out, recording. Marcus, shirt half untucked, stained with alcohol. Hair a mess, eyes wild, unfocused. Swaying as he shouted at security. "I need to see her. Amelia. I know you're here." Looking at him now I felt nothing. Just cold, calm clarity. I stepped out. The click of my heels on marble made heads turn. Marcus saw me. Eyes went wide. "Amelia." He tried to push past security. "You think you can." "Marcus." My voice cut through his shouting like a blade. "Oh, Regal. You should leave." He stopped struggling, staring like he'd never seen me before. "Leave. Leave." His voice climbed. "You ruined me. After everything I did for you. After everything you took from me." I walked closer, each step deliberate. The crowd parted. "Is that what you meant?" Security tensed. But I wasn't afraid. Not anymore. Marcus's face twisted. "I took from you. You paid me." You threw money because you were desperate. You're right, I said. My agreement shocked him to silence. I was desperate. Lonely. I made a mistake trusting you. I stopped at a safe distance. But you made a career out of that mistake. What are you? Ms. Sarah Mitchell, I said clearly. British expat. You took $200,000 for a fake business opportunity. Marcus went pale. Ms. Jennifer Kim. Korean American. 50 million won for wedding expenses that never happened. Should I continue? My husband's team found 3 more women. All the same pattern. Seduce them. Take their money. Disappear. That's a lie, his voice cracked. Hotel staff wheeled in a large screen. My heart raced. I hadn't known about this. The screen lit up. Bank statements showing gambling debts. Dating profiles targeting wealthy women. Messages where he'd strategized how to make me fall for him. How much money to extract, when to run. Photos of the other women. Their stories. Bank transfers. Everything. The lobby went completely silent. Every phone recording. This wasn't just my confrontation. This was his complete public destruction. You're a fraud, I said, voice carrying. A con artist. A predator who targets lonely women and bleeds them dry. And everyone knows it now. Marcus's face went from pale to red. You bitch. You think you can. He lunged. Didn't make it 2 steps. Mr. Choi moved faster than I could follow. One moment behind me, the next Marcus was face down on marble, arm twisted behind his back. Marcus screamed. More security appeared. The crowd pressed closer, phones capturing everything. You'll regret this, Marcus shouted. Both of you. Also, I'll go to the press. You'll do nothing. The voice came from behind me. Cold. Absolute. Urgent. He walked, not wheeled, down the corridor. Still in his tuxedo. But something in his bearing made people instinctively step back. The ghost. The real Eugene. Dangerous and powerful and completely unmasked. He stopped beside me, hand finding the small of my back. Claim. Protection. You had a chance at something real, Eugene said, looking down at Marcus with cold contempt. A woman who actually cared about you. Wealth. Status. A life most men would kill for. And you destroyed it. For what? A few million won. Marcus struggled. You don't know. I know you have 300 million won in gambling debts. I know you've been living in a motel in Itaewon. I know you spent Amelia's money on bad investments and worse poker games. Eugene's voice never rose, but the temperature dropped. And as of tonight, you're banned from every establishment in Seoul. Every club, every hotel, every restaurant, every business that wants good relations with Min Industries. Marcus's eyes went wide with genuine fear. You can't. I already have. And if you ever speak to, about, or near my wife again. Eugene leaned down slightly. They'll never find your body. Are we clear? The certainty in his voice made even me shiver. Marcus nodded frantically. All bravado gone. Get him out, Eugene told security. And make sure the press gets copies of everything on that screen. I want his face on every news site by morning. Security hauled Marcus to his feet. He tried one last time to look at me, rage and desperate pleading. Amelia, please. Goodbye, Marcus, I said. And meant it. They dragged him toward a service exit. His shouts echoed until a door closed, cutting them off. Silence. Then, slowly, someone started clapping. A woman in an evening gown, wife of a Supreme Court justice. Others joined. More applause. Not mocking. Genuine. Eugene took my hand. Ready to go back upstairs. I nodded, not trusting my voice. The elevator doors closed. We were alone. I started shaking. Eugene pulled me against him immediately. You were magnificent. I thought I'd feel vindicated. But I just feel empty. That's normal. Revenge is rarely as satisfying as we imagine. His hand stroked my back. But you faced him. stood your ground, showed everyone who you really are. Who am I? A queen, he said simply. We returned to the ballroom. The energy had shifted. People approached differently now. Not with pity or calculation, but with respect. Some with wariness. I wasn't the desperate American woman anymore. I was Mrs. Min Eugene. The woman who'd stood up to her abuser in front of Seoul's elite and hadn't blinked. The woman who'd tamed the ghost. Finally Eugene leaned close. I think we've fulfilled our obligations. Shall we go home? The word sent warmth through me. Yes. Let's go home. The ride back was quiet. We sat close in the Rolls-Royce, his hand holding mine. Did we just destroy a man? I asked quietly. We exposed a criminal. There's a difference. Is there? He destroyed himself. We just made sure everyone knew. He turned to me. Does it bother you? Is this what your life is always like? Exposing secrets. Destroying enemies. Yes. No hesitation. No apology. Can you handle it? The Amelia from a week ago would have run. But I wasn't her anymore. Yes. I think I can. Eugene smiled and pulled me closer. Good. Because I'm not letting you go. We arrived at the estate lit up like a palace. Staff met us at the door. Congratulations, Master Eugene. Mrs. Min. That will be all for tonight, Eugene said. They disappeared. We were alone in the grand foyer. Still in formal wear. The chandelier cast prismatic light across marble. The tension that had been building all night crackled between us. Your room or mine? Eugene asked, voice low. I smiled genuinely. This is your house. What do you think? His eyes flared. In one smooth motion, he swept me into his arms, lifting me like I weighed nothing. Welcome home, wife, he murmured against my lips. My real wife. He kissed me as he carried me toward the stairs. Not careful or strategic. This was claiming. Passionate. Real. I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him back with everything I'd been holding back. All the fear, the desire, the need that had been building since that moment in the chapel. Amelia, he breathed. Are you sure? Yes. I've never been more sure of anything. He looked at me, really looked, and I saw everything there. Desire. Respect. Partnership. Something deeper neither of us was ready to name yet. Then I'm the luckiest man in Korea, he said. Plug. 6 months later. I stood on our balcony overlooking Seoul's nighttime skyline, marveling at how much had changed. Technova had tripled in value. Being married to Eugene had opened doors, but my skill kept them open. My team. My vision. I'd proven I belonged. Not because of who I'd married, but because of what I'd built. Eugene had taken over as CEO of Min Industries. Within a week of standing up from that wheelchair, Min Industries' stock jumped 15%. Within a month, he'd renegotiated 3 major contracts and acquired 2 competitors. The ghost had stepped into the light. Together we'd become a power couple. She handles legitimate business. He handles everything else. Partners in every sense. As for Marcus, he'd tried to blackmail us once. Demanded 10 million won to keep quiet. 3 days later he disappeared. Some said Philippines. Others said Thailand. A few whispered darker things about the Han River. Nobody knew for sure. Nobody asked. Arms wrapped around me from behind. What are you thinking about? Eugene murmured. Everything. How different my life is now. I turned to face him. Any regrets? He considered seriously. Only that I didn't walk into that chapel sooner. Maybe I needed it. To get here. To become this. I gestured at us, at the empire we'd built. Sometimes you have to break completely before you can rebuild into something stronger. Wise words, Mrs. Min. He kissed my forehead. Though I still wish I could have spared you that pain. You gave me something better. Power. Partnership. A chance to be exactly who I was meant to be. And who is that? Smiled. A queen. He laughed, that rare, genuine laugh. Yes, you are. His expression turned serious. I love you, Amelia. I don't know when it happened. Maybe that first moment in the chapel. Maybe later. But it's real. My breath caught. I love you too, I whispered. This insane, complicated, dangerous love. But it's ours. We kissed as the city lights twinkled below. Two people who'd found each other in the worst circumstances and built something beautiful from the ashes. Found my empire. He'd found his queen. Together we were unstoppable. Thank you, family. If Amelia's transformation from humiliation to power resonated with you, smash that like button. Comment below. Have you ever had to rebuild yourself after being broken? We want to hear your stories. Subscribe to K-Whisper. We're building a community celebrating Afro-Korean love stories, cultural connections, and the truth that everyone deserves a love story, no matter how it begins. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Someone who's been humiliated, broken, or told they're not enough. Because Amelia's story proves that sometimes our lowest moments lead us to our greatest transformations. More dramatic, passionate stories coming soon. Stories about love that crosses cultures, breaks barriers, and refuses to follow the rules. This is K-Whisper, and we're just getting started. 'Cause everyone deserves a love story. Even if it starts with humiliation and ends with a mafia boss. Until next time, family. Stay strong. Stay proud. Never let anyone make you feel like you're not enough. You are a queen. You just might not know it yet.